So this is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and the main question here is how does it play? Let's go ahead. I've already completed this game 100%. Let's go ahead and jump in here. So this is a little different from previous Warriors games. If you played the last Hyrule Warriors, you're going to get a lot of the controls already, but differences mainly in the organization of stuff here. You unlock outfits as you play through the game. So let's go ahead and just use the basics here, I guess. You got all the stuff that you can get basically in the main game. And then you've got several characters you can have join you. Certain characters have different outfits. Not every character has alternate outfits. Like Impa, for example, doesn't have any alternate outfits. The Guardians, they simply have, whether or not they have their blue sash on or not. So basically the presentation here is you have the map of Breath of the Wild, and every icon here is something. So here you've got the missions. So let's go ahead and just jump into the first mission real quick. And I'm going to play this out because this game does have some long load times on the level select, but you can press L and R to move the little robot guy on the loading screen up top if you really want to have something to do. You can practice how high you can jump. You can double tap to go fast for a little bit, get a little bit of a dash. And this is a parade of all the unlocked characters that you have. It does get shorter and longer at different points in the story as you unlock characters. But let's go ahead and get started here. So what you got here, it looks like Breath of the Wild at first glance, but you can, of course, run if you just start walking for a while. Or, I think new to this game is if you dodge and then hold the dodge button, you'll instantly start running. That is a nice addition. Other than that, you've got your normal attacks, which you can just mash normal attack for a while, or you can you've got a strong attack with X, and if you press your normal attack and then a strong attack, you'll do different moves. So if I do two normals and then a strong, I do a little shield surfing right there. If I do three, and I do like a spin attack kind of thing. And Link, well, every character kind of plays differently. Link in particular has special combos. If you hold down the strong attack afterwards, then you get to do another move like that. And little cutscenes like this will interrupt the story missions a bit. Right. Unfortunately, you cannot skip these in mission cutscenes. There are pre-rendered cutscenes, well, maybe they're not pre-rendered, but there are designated cutscenes that you can skip. Also, Link, if you just are running and press strong attack, you can shield surf around, which gives you slightly faster speed. You can cut down trees, just like Breath of the Wild. Basically, this is a complete mixture of Breath of the Wild with Hyrule Warriors. If you've played the original Hyrule Warriors on Wii U or Switch, you take that game, mix it with Breath of the Wild, and this is what you get. So if you've played previous Warriors games, it'll feel just like that. If you've only played Breath of the Wild, basically the only connection is the story, the way it looks. There are even perfect dodges in this if you have it timed. Let me see if I can do this. Oh, every character also has access to the runes, and this guy in particular, he just showed yellow, and if I use that rune on him, it'll stop him. And if I hit him a little bit, he'll be knocked out. Actually, what it would do is reveal his weak point gauge, and after you reveal the weak point gauge, you can, of course, hit with a strong attack. And on lower difficulties, usually the weak point gauge, if you get that down, it'll pretty much take out the enemy. Let's see. Oh yeah, you press in the right stick to lock on the targets. So his weak point gauge is gone. Now, in other games, once the weak point gauge is down, you simply just walk up to an enemy and it does the weak point attack. In this game, it's actually set to be a separate button press, so you can kind of activate it when you're ready. And these those little attacks like that, those pretty much will take out most enemies. Not until you get later in the game or play in higher difficulties will it not take out enemies. There are boxes and things all around that you can break open to get materials. Materials do come to you automatically in this game. In the original Hyrule Warriors, they did not. In Fire Emblem Warriors, they did. They all just went directly to you. Let me lock onto this guy. Because if I don't lock on, then I can just move the camera around. But if I lock on, then it'll be much easier for me. Those treasure chests appear when you take a keep. You can walk up to them and press Y to open them, or if you just wait a second, they'll open up automatically and you'll get the materials anyway. This cutscene I can't skip. As you see on the lower right there, you got the skip option. So basically the story here is a prequel to Breath of the Wild, where they're just discovering the Sheikah technology stuff. Well, it actually starts out with a robot going into the past. A little robot buddy that joins you on your quest. He goes into the past, and he kind of warns you about the Calamity. You don't really understand him right away, so you don't really know what's going to happen. Interesting thing, these bases that you always saw in Breath of the Wild, you can go inside and take out the enemies to try to get that treasure chest open, or you can actually bomb all these. If you just throw a bomb at these things, they'll all go down. And you come over here and open the treasure chest and get mostly materials or rupees. Oh yeah, these are apples lying around. You have actually items. If you pull this up and press B, you can use apples if you're missing health. And these apples will, I guess you can collect them if you're if you don't have full apples like I do. So let's go ahead and go to those points on the map, since that is what we need to do to complete the mission. That is a bomb, if we want to blow it up. Oh, he went down. I must not be on a very high difficulty. I didn't really check before this. Some groups of enemies will actually wait around for you, and they'll plan attacks like this guy right here. Well, at least the last group. Right here. Usable in that horn, they're actually all throwing their clubs at me. And if I run low on health, I can heal. I hold L and press one of these buttons. The apple one in particular. These other ones are actually magic wands that you get and you can use to attack. Mostly I would save them for big tough enemies because it'll reveal their weak point gauges for you without you having to do anything else. So that's what you kind of do when you're really in a tight spot. And those guys, yeah. So enemies that kind of wait for you to attack or are waiting for you in a line, you have different options to approach them. You don't necessarily want to approach them blindly. I mean, you can if you're high leveled or something like that. But otherwise, you can, Link at least, can pull out some arrows. You have infinite arrows in this game. You just gotta charge it up. Oh, and then the screen is actually telling me I can change characters. As if you just want to switch characters anytime, you can. And each character plays differently. As you can see right there. These Wizrobes are what you defeat if you want to get magic wands. So if I take out a Wizrobe here, he'll drop some magic wand. A fire one in particular. They are firepower. So if I want to use fire, I can do that. And these little things will restore my fire wand ammo, I guess I could say. Let's switch back to Link. I can just drive through these enemies here. And the game gives lots of tutorials in the first few levels on different moves and what you can do. I believe ice can freeze enemies in water. Oh, these guys are trying to hide. So yeah, lots of different combos you can try out. And these special moves, you can see the meter, the yellow meter up there. When I use a special move, it takes one of those, and it's usually a pretty strong attack and hits a wide area, so you just build that up by attacking other enemies. The game also retains a lot, pretty much all the sound effects from Breath of the Wild, just because it can. Oh, also there are Koroks to be found, so you can find them in different parts of the game. Basically, every story mission has a bunch of Koroks to find. I don't think there's anywhere I can show that off on this screen. But yeah, you can pause the game and look at your allies, see where they are. You can give them orders from this screen. If I want to tell Impa to go meet me over here or something, go fight some enemies there, she'll start making her way over there. But yeah, you find the Koroks, and basically they're just like a limited material. So other materials you can, refight missions and grind for, but Korok seeds, there's only a limited number of them. So getting all of them does just help you unlock everything. Alright, Moblin, let's see if I can get a thing on this guy. Perfect dodge. Ah. Might not do it on the ice stuff anyway. There we go. Flurry Rush. And that will really reduce their weak point gauge if you get that off. Pretty much all of the Breath of the Wild mechanics are in here, except for like climbing everything. You cannot climb anything, really. Like you can't climb a tree. What was that? That is pretty much all there is to say about the gameplay. He was going to throw that guy at me. It is very much Hyrule Warriors mixed with Breath of the Wild. That's really the simplest way to explain it. And that is the mission. And so at the end of every mission, you get rupees, for the most part. And you get experience points, so my character's levels will, or my experience bars will not even move because I'm high leveled. Max level might be 99, I don't know. You get weapons, and then you also get materials here. You can see my collection of materials, what I got from this mission. Anything that you have over max capacity, I'm not sure which those are, but those will get sold. So in terms of story, this is probably, out of any Warriors game I've played, this probably has like the most story in it. Like, I mean, every Warriors game has a story mode, and they have set story missions with cutscenes and stuff. But this one, it feels like the story kind of matters, where every other Warriors game I've played, like Fire Emblem Warriors, even the original Hyrule Warriors, or Gundam Warriors, Dynasty Warriors Gundam I think it's actually called, the story is pretty much just an excuse to get a bunch of characters from a bunch of different games in the series together so that they can have a game. Not so with this game, where it actually has kind of a story. All the characters in this game, I won't tell you all of them, but they all are from Breath of the Wild. Up here, right above Hyrule Castle, you've got your main blacksmith, where you do like the weapon fusing, just kind of bring weapons together to you level up your weapons. It costs money to do so, so you can't just do it forever. And then you can also sell your weapons if you have too many. You just want to get rid of some to get some rupees. You can do that. Octopolish, this is like, I think in other games there would be like a curse or something on a weapon. If you had a weapon, I don't have one here, where you just use this on like rusty weapons so that you can start using them pretty much. Remove seals. I guess you can take stuff off your weapons. So when you do fuse your weapons together, there are like different bonuses based on the weapon you choose to mix with it. So you can get like high resell, I don't know. That's the best I got. That's the best I got. But you can get stuff like battle experience plus, damage from enemies less, damage at full hearts is more, stuff like that. Heal by defeating enemies, that's pretty good. And you can raise your weapon level up to 30. I think the original weapon level max is 20, and you can raise it twice to get up to 30. But after that, it's pretty much maxed out. And adding more weapons to it will not really do anything. Not that I have the money right now to do anything. Also, you have training camp where you can spend rupees to level up. I believe you cannot go higher than your highest level character this way, so you can't raise your highest level character at all. But if you have other characters that you haven't used a lot, you can raise their level. Typical stuff in a Warriors game. But also on the story missions themselves, they will tell you, if you look at this battle info, it's got a record of what difficulties you've beat it on. And also on the left there, you've got treasure chests. Those are standalone treasure chests, not the ones you get from defeating keeps, but those are hidden ones just throughout the level. And also the Korok seeds that there are in the level. So you can get at least a list if you want to know where you're missing a Korok seed. It's very easy to find. Also from this screen, if you're looking for Korok seeds in particular, like all story missions have Korok seeds, but then also a few of these random missions will have like 1 or 2 Korok seeds like that. If you really want to find out, you press R here and you can see all the story missions here. You can check out what you're missing in any of them, and if you press R again, you can check out all the regular missions. If you want to just scroll through all of these, you can find ones that have Korok seeds, and that way you can not miss one. Very easy to do that way. Also, you can have character specific missions if you want to find where those are. And then if I head all the way back to the left, you can have the services. There are different shops throughout the game, including a dye shop where you can change the color of your outfits if you so choose. Other than that, there's just a bunch of regular shops where you can buy materials if you need one. Oh yeah, that reminds me. So all the blue spots here are like missions or something you can interact with like a shop. There's a whole bunch of other things on here like this. This one it's grayed out now because I've already gotten it. But these kind of replace the badges that are in the original Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors, where you can use materials to upgrade your characters. Those are kind of just all around. And there was like a materials requirement on these at first, like this. You got materials needed and then a reward, so I can actually do this a bunch of times if I wanted to. So now I don't have enough materials. If I press X here, assign the sensor, now it puts a green circle around every mission that has that material I'm missing. So it's not every mission, like this one doesn't. But I guess, what am I missing? Oh, a Moblin Horn. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty common item. So it's in a bunch of different missions. So that is pretty much it, though. It's kind of odd that this is the entire game right here. This map. There are no other game modes. System options. You can rewatch tutorials. You can get like stuff like that. Gallery. This is like you can look at the character models or pick out cutscenes to rewatch and listen to the music. Here's some stats. Time played 53 hours. Yeah, that is everything, which is short for a Warriors game. It doesn't take 53 hours to go through the story, but to do everything only takes 53 hours. But useless stats, 100%, you can see right here. Options include difficulty, you can set it here. You can work camera controls, camera speed, motion control aiming. This only comes up in a very few small spots, so I turn it off just so it doesn't get in the way. Like if a game was more focused on motion aiming, like Breath of the Wild itself, I use motion aiming in Breath of the Wild, but not in this game because it's used so little that anytime it comes up, it's like, oh yeah, I have to sit in a position where I can use motion aiming. And then health gauge for small enemies can be on and off. You can display control prompts for stuff, subtitles on or off, sound volumes. That is pretty much everything. One last thing I would touch on is performance of the game. Playing in single player mode, there's pretty much no problem with frame rate that I ever found. But if you play in 2-player mode, then the frame rate issues can pop up. In fact, they popped up a lot. I think the game has been patched since it originally came out, so that way, instead of skipping frames, it kind of just slows down the game more. If you have questions about the canonness of the story, I'd say it could go either way, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if it has no bearing on Breath of the Wild 2. Again, this is a prequel story. I don't want to spoil anything. I think it could be considered canon and not mess up anything that is planned for Breath of the Wild 2. That's all I'll say about it. If you have any other questions about the game, let me know in the comments below. If you've played Age of Calamity, let me know what you think about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.